There's a quiet betrayal that happens inside your own head the moment you decide to start something hard. Your brain protests. It invents reasons, calculates costs, replays old failures, and suddenly the couch looks like the safest place in the world. That resistance is not moral weakness. It's biology and habit wrapped together. Your brain's job is survival, not achievement. And when a task looks risky, ambiguous, or long, the brain treats it like a threat. That's why you panic at the blank document, stall at the first page, and find 10 other important things to do that aren't the real work. The first thing to understand is initiation inertia. Think of your brain as a heavy door. Pushing it a little feels impossible until you apply a specific kind of force. Once the door budges, it swings. Most advice targets the wrong problem. We ask for motivation or willpower. Those help, but they are unreliable. What actually beats the resistance is lowering the activation energy, making the first move so small the brain can't refuse. The trick isn't to feel brave, it's to make starting trivial. There are 3 invisible lies your brain tells you when you face a hard task. First, you need perfect conditions. The brain exaggerates requirements so you never begin. Second, it will cost more than it's worth. The brain miscalculates effort and underestimates the payoff. Third, you're not the kind of person who does this. This is the identity trap. We stop before we start because we've already told ourselves a story about failure. When you know these lies, you can talk back to them with methods that actually work. One method is micro-initiation. Break the task into a tiny physical step that takes under 2 minutes. Open the file, type 1 sentence, place the guitar on your lap, load 1 ingredient. The brain measures success in tiny packets. That small success lights a neural spark, dopamine for having completed something, and suddenly the door is easier to move. The paradox is brutal and beautiful. Doing one unglamorous small thing usually leads to wanting more. Another lever is ritualized beginnings. Human brains love cues. If you always start hard work the same way, a single cup of tea, a 5-second breath technique, closing your browser, that cue becomes a reliable trigger. Over time, the cue carries momentum. You don't decide to start so much as respond to a signal. That's why teams and artists use warm-up rituals. Rituals reduce the decision load. They turn a choice into a habit. Environment matters more than motivation. When you remove friction, log out of distracting apps, keep the instrument in view, set the workspace with only the tools you need, your brain encounters fewer objections. Conversely, when every device and tab is a siren, the brain has an easy argument to stall. Fix the environment, and you make the brain's job simple. Do the work, or experience nothing. Most people chase inspiration. Smarter people shape conditions. Identity reframing is the deep fix. Saying, "I'm not a morning person," or "I can't write," hands power to the part of you that avoids risk. Instead, start with a tiny identity claim. I am the kind of person who shows up for 5 minutes. Repeat it, act on it, and watch behavior follow. After enough small acts, the old identity loses its grip, and a new one appears like a garment that finally fits. There are technical tools that help too. Implementation intentions, if-then plans, time boxing, and visible accountability. Write a plan that looks like a mechanical machine. If it's 7 o'clock, then I open the document and write 1 sentence. The simplicity removes debate. Time boxing forces limits so the brain doesn't imagine an endless, terrifying abyss. Accountability, telling one person you will do it, raises the social cost of not starting, and social cost is a powerful lever. You will still have bad days. On those days, the goal is not heroism, but evidence. Start with the tiniest thing. If even 2 minutes feels impossible, you'll learn something important about your energy, alignment, or the need for rest. The point is honest feedback. The brain will show you whether the task is valuable or whether your patterns are playing you. That clarity alone reduces future resistance. I want you to try an experiment tonight. Pick the hardest small thing you've been avoiding, and reduce the first action to one specific physical move that takes less than 60 seconds. Do only that move. If you keep going, you keep going. If not, record what blocked you and try again tomorrow. Over weeks, those 1-minute starts morph into work you once thought impossible. The brain that once resisted becomes one that recognizes completion and seeks it. The real energy isn't in willpower, it's in design. Design your start, design your environment, and design your tiny identity claims. Respect the biological wiring that resists risk, and then hack it with small, repeatable, physical moves. That's how difficult work becomes ordinary. That's how your brain switches from "I can't" to "I did." Try it. Write what you started in the comments. And if you want a practical template, exact micromoves for writing, fitness, learning, and work, subscribe and I'll make a short series so you can stop waiting and start doing.